Obama taught me and what he showed the world on stage at the 2004 convention is that a really good speech is a story from beginning to end. And sometimes when you're telling a story from beginning to end, like he did in that speech, it's hard to find 1 or 2 lines to take out and have that be like the quote. You know, there was a reporter who would always ask me, okay, that speech that you just did, what's the etched in stone line from that speech? Which line do you see etched in stone? And I would always disappoint him by telling him, like, I don't know. And, you know, perhaps, you know, there were times when we should have thought harder about making sure that quotes were very quotable. But to the president, to myself, the most important job of a speech is to tell a story from beginning to end and to put together a logical argument, and also to make it sound authentic. And sometimes when you're thinking about, you know, what's going to be the line that Twitter picks up or the news or something like that, you sort of forced into writing a line that sounds a little more phony and constructed than you might as you're just having a conversation with someone, right? So I try to actually avoid that as much as possible, and hope and have faith that people will watch the whole speech. I was saying on the race speech, President gave that speech at the middle of a Tuesday afternoon, and you know, only the cable networks covered it. And immediately after he was finished, a lot of the pundits on cable were like, you know, he might have made a mistake in giving that speech in the middle of the day because it was really long and there was no quotable lines and it wasn't prime time, and you know, so will the race speech break through? And you know, it turned out that within a couple weeks and then a couple months, there were like thousands of millions of views of the race speech on YouTube, and people had taken the time to go watch that entire speech. So even though they might have seen a clip on the news that wasn't the best soundbite, they could probably tell from that speech that it sounded different and authentic enough that they wanted to go find more. You know, so if you deliver a speech that's real and true to who you are, and it's telling a good story, even if someone only sees a small snippet of it, they're probably likely to go find that whole speech, as opposed to, oh, I just saw a snappy soundbite on the news. Well, that happens all the time, so that's not very different.